What's going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another Bring the Juice Colts podcast live stream. Guys, it is a little bit different than what I normally do, right? Middle of the week, mid-afternoon stream. I normally don't do these kinds of things, but I had some free time to kill today, and I just figured I would come on here and share a little bit of my afternoon with you guys. So I greatly appreciate everybody who has come in and is willing to answer questions or ask me questions. Again, guys, this is a live stream, a Q&A session. So, feel free to ask questions and I'll get through as many of them as possible. Shout out to the people in here who are mods. Shout out to the members in here. Greatly appreciate you guys coming and hanging out. Be sure to like the stream, guys, if you haven't already. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Greatly appreciate it. Must say, guys, before I hop into all the questions and everything, I do want to say I absolutely am blown away at the level of support we have received this month. We had our biggest month by more than double what our previous best month was. We more than doubled what happened with our best month. Our previous best month was back in August of last year, and that was 152,000. Or actually, it was April of this year that we hit 155,000, and I think that a lot of that had to do with the drafting, you guys hanging out for the draft content and everything else. But we almost hit 400,000 views on the channel this last month. Unbelievable number. So greatly appreciate you guys coming in here, supporting the channel by watching, doing whatever it is that you guys do. We greatly appreciate all the support you guys have given us over the past, really this month and all in general. So greatly appreciate that. But let's go ahead and hop into a few of the questions here. Chris Maker, my guy, says, how are you feeling about the overall depth of the offensive line, and how do you feel Ballard has done addressing it? Has he done enough to address the obvious need along that front? Well, I feel much better about it knowing that Dennis Kelly is going to come back. Obviously is not practicing right now, but I do feel much more better about the fact that Kelly is going to be back at some point being on that offensive line. Ballard talked about it in his press conference that, he felt comfortable with going with the young guys on this front. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it too much yet. I just hope that we don't have another issue that we had last year when half of our O-line was either injured or had COVID, right? So I hope we don't have to deal with that again. So we'll see what happens. But so yes, I am more confident in it now that Kelly's here, but still not as confident as I was last year. How long do you think Derrick Henry has? I say 1 year before he gets progressively worse. I definitely, my friend and I were talking about this the other day. I mean, we're talking about the fact that, Derrick Henry gets 400 plus carries every year. It does feel like that Derrick Henry will be, I don't know, because I don't want to take last year's injury and make it as if, oh, this is the beginning of the end, right? We've had that story before, and it doesn't happen a lot. But then again, nobody has the workload that Derrick Henry has. So I definitely think that this could be the start of him starting to slow down a little bit. Maybe he does start getting more of these injuries that starts, limiting his usage throughout the season. Maybe he starts only playing, 11, 12 games a year from this point forward because, he just keeps getting injured every once in a while. I don't know. I definitely think in a year or two time, he is going to really start slowing down. So I would agree with you. Do you think the Titans receiving core got worse this year? And how do you think the Colts receiving core matches with them? Hold on one second. I did see this. Hunter Peterson, thank you for the $2 super chat. It's been a while. Hope all is well for you. Hunter, I greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much. All is well for me. So I greatly appreciate you hopping in here doing that. Greatly appreciate that. think the Titans receiving core got worse this year? Well, yeah, I mean, I absolutely do think it got worse. I mean, even though you have, you have Robert Woods, who definitely is a capable receiver. I mean, I think for the most part, he's a number 2 receiver. And then, you went off of the hunch that Treylon Burks is going to be your next big thing. I mean, neither one of them is A.J. Brown, right? A.J. Brown, it was a fringe top 15 wide receiver in this league. He's a guy that creates opportunities. And I think that they made a mistake getting rid of A.J. Brown, and I think it's going to come back to hurt them. And I mean, at least when you look at Michael Pittman, I think Michael Pittman definitely is just as good as any of their wide receivers right now. I mean, Pittman hasn't been injury prone starting his career. He hasn't been injury prone. He puts up just as many numbers as what Robert Woods does currently. Ultimately, again, it's the inexperience of it all. I mean, I don't think either one of these receiver cores is really better. I think that honestly, when it looks to me like with potential, I would say that the potential is higher for the Indianapolis Colts side, but I'm not, and neither one of them separates themselves from me. But also, will Ashton Doolin be better than Alec Pierce this year? I assume we're talking about stat-wise. Stat-wise, no, I don't think Ashton Doolin's going to do better than Alec Pierce this year. Alec Pierce is the number 2 or number 3 wide receiver on this roster for a reason. And that's just ultimately going to be the case. I mean, I don't think Ashton Doolin's going to get used much in the offense anyway, but things change and we'll see how Matt Ryan likes to use them. It just depends. Make sure to keep hitting that like button, guys, if you can for me. Helps get it out to more and more people. What up, Colts Cut? What's up? Tyrone, will we have enough to pay our key guys over the next 2 years, including MPJ, Moore, JT, Nelson, and Buckner? Yeah, I mean, Nelson's contract, I think, is going to be up here shortly. It'll be tough to figure out, who's going to get paid and who's not. I mean, Michael Pittman, I think, is probably going to get around $20 million a year when he gets. I mean, the good thing is that the cap is increasing greatly this year because of TV deals and things of that nature. So, these guys are going to have a chance to get a little bit more money, but that also creates some room for the guys, right? So it will be difficult. It depends how much JT and Michael Pittman are going to ask for. Now, Buckner's contract goes for another 2 years. So I don't think that, obviously, we're not worried about this offseason, and we're obviously not worried about next offseason. And by that time, Buckner's going to be turning 30 years old. We'll see how he performs. Nelson's contract, I think, is going to be very soon. Kenny Moore, I think, is going to get a little bit more money than what, but obviously isn't getting paid this season. So I do think we'll have enough money to get all these guys, but some of them may not. Some of them may not stick around, and that's the unfortunate part of the business, right? Over under on 1,700 yards. I'm going to go slightly under. I'm going to go under. I'm going to say he's somewhere in between 1,500 and 1,600 yards this next year. I really do think that. I think it's going to drop that much because I think they're going to drop his carries by at least 30 carries this year, at least. And if you take on average what he was getting, which over 5 yards a carry, it's 150 yards. You take that off, and that's under 1,700 yards. That's under 1,700 yards, easy. So yeah, I think it's going to be under for sure. Do we believe Pittman could be compared to Julio while working with? Okay, so let me get this out the way. No one is going to be what Julio Jones was when he was with the Falcons, okay? That is a guy that did some things that very few people would be able to do, okay? And I love Michael Pittman. I think he's going to get 100 catches this year for around 1,400 yards and close to 10 touchdowns. I think he's going to do what he does. But to take over a game like what Julio Jones used to do not believe that that's what we're going to see out of Michael Pittman. I just don't see it. I really just don't see it. So, sorry, guys. Who backs up Buckner? I think it's going to be, I think it's going to end up being Eric Johnson, to be honest. What up, Marquise? What up? What do y'all feel, honestly, about the health of Shaquille Leonard? I mean, Tyrone Perkins, I don't think there's a problem. I mean, he says that he feels the healthiest he has felt since 2019. Like ever since he got that surgery, says that this is the first time he's had no pain in that ankle since the end of the 2019 season. So that guy played for 2 seasons with the ankle pain, and that's his only problem. That was his only problem, and he still played through it regardless. I know my phone's here somewhere. Whatever, they'll call back. Or they'll leave a message one way or the other. Let me check something real quick, guys. May have to hop off here for a split second if there's something that happens. But yeah, when it comes to Shaquille Leonard, guys, I mean, I'm not worried about his overall health. I really am not too worried. Hines could be like a Devontae Freeman. Oh, he's different than Devontae Freeman. Freeman is not the same kind of athlete. You see the Colts adding wide receiver or tight end help. Yeah, I definitely think some tight end help definitely could come about because the Colts only have 3 guys. But I gotta go for 1 second here, guys. I got a voicemail I gotta listen to. I'll be back in a second here. Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna listen to this and then I'll be right back. Never mind. It was a call. Give me a second. There we go. All right, we're good. We're good. Okay. Sweet. Now I'm trying to remember where I was here. There we go. Tight end help definitely could. Biggest Colts weakness. I'd say probably depth at the defensive line position right now and at the offensive line. We saw how bad they looked at times, for during that. I think that's their biggest issue right now. I think people want to point to the wide receivers, but they want to point to it just because of inexperience. I don't think it's inexperience that's the problem. I think at some point later in the season, that Colts wide receiver group is going to be extremely good if it stays healthy. Just the only problem I see right now is, the defense. There's a lot of defensive linemen on there right now, but how many of them are actually going to step up in real time when it matters, right? That's what matters to me. I don't know what you're talking about. Could the Colts also add cornerback depth? I mean, they definitely could. I could see them maybe going more safety depth than anything, but I think they got the corners that they want. So I don't think that there needs to be any more to it than that, to be honest. Make sure to like the stream, guys, if you can. Thank you so much to the 60 people who are here chilling with me. Greatly appreciate it. Why my friend in Weatherford get cut from the Indianapolis Colts? I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, the Colts knew they were having issues with the special teams, and they needed somebody that they felt was going to take over special teams. You know, you still had Ashton Doolin, who you respect and obviously can play special teams very well. But, you know, when you're rounding out the end of a position, if you can't do special teams specifically for the Colts, then you're not going to last very long. And unfortunately, even as good as Weatherford was in the preseason, they felt that they had a better option at special teams than Weatherford. So that's ultimately why it came down to that conclusion. How the heck did we get to the Titans in there? Do you think Pay will have over 8 sacks this year? I don't know. I think he's going to be right around that area, to be honest. I don't think he's going to get more than that, but I think he could get right around that area, which would definitely be a step up. Why do y'all keep saying that I look like Andrew Luck post-retire? Where does that come from? Like, I don't see the resemblance. Just because I have the black beard and like, you know, I don't see the resemblance. I really don't. Like, I don't see the resemblance to me and Andrew Luck. I don't see it like you guys do. We can franchise tag Nelson, plus he has a 5th-year option. Yeah, I know. We might end up doing that for Nelson, to be honest, if they don't end up keeping him around. But we'll see what happens. You know, it depends on how Ballard wants things to go. What do you like about Gus Bradley so far, his defensive system? Well, I definitely have seen the difference in how these guys play. It really feels like there's a different energy on the defense. Like, it doesn't seem like the Colts are reacting. It seems like they're more of or not just playing soft and stuff. It sounds like they're not reacting. They're actually they're actually reacting to the situation instead. Like, I think, that's the best way I want to word this. Obviously, the aggressiveness has been different. You know, what they're doing is it doesn't seem like players are just seeing everything and then reacting and then going over and making a play. It seems like they're making moves with the aggressiveness that the system allows them to play at. And now you got a bunch of different athletes on here. You know, you got Gilmore, who's obviously insanely smart. Nick Cross, who's making athletic plays. Bobby Okereke out here making some big plays. Zaire Franklin is out here making plays in the secondary and everything else. And he's putting that stuff on, you know, like, I mean, this is a system that was not thriving with Zaire Franklin before, but now with it, it seems like it is allowing them to become more aggressive, and they're initiating they're initiating things, not reacting, they're initiating. And I love that about this system. It already looks like it's working, and Shaquille Leonard hasn't even been out there yet. And this is what the defense is already looking like. And Shaquille Leonard hasn't even been out doing it yet. Like, that's impressive to say the least. So I like what I've seen in Gus Bradley's system so far. I like what I'm seeing. I can't go over under. I'm going to take the split because that's what I had them at. What are our draft concerns for next year? Maybe left tackle, cornerback, because of Stephon Gilmore. You know, Stephon Gilmore is not going to be your number one forever. You have to get a good cornerback. You don't really need safety. You don't need linebacker. You don't need defense, really. But you probably will need another defensive tackle, another good one. Probably another receiver, maybe, and Quarterback is another one. You definitely need to keep an eye out for that. Oh, question. Like Jonathan Taylor, do you think Alec Pierce will become more of a game time threat as the season progresses? Yes, I do. I expect very little of Alec Pierce to start the season just because I think he's still adapting. But once he starts to learn and he's getting used to this system with Reggie Wayne and everything else going on, I think he starts to get better as the season goes on. I absolutely agree with that. Like you said, with Jonathan Taylor, through the first like 12 weeks of his first season, he didn't do well. I mean, Jonathan Taylor was, I mean, you could have argued he got benched for Jordan Wilkins in the first half of the season, man. Like, there were times where Jonathan Taylor was not looking good. And then all of a sudden, he got the time, and then a switch clicked off in his head, and he's like, the game has slowed down for me. I feel like I know what I'm doing now. And I feel like I can do things better now than what I did from before because I didn't understand. Now, and then Jonathan Taylor, you noticed it. As soon as he turned it on, you knew it was over. So I think that could be definitely something we see from him like that. So I agree, Marquise. Eric Stevenson, how is Texas treating you, brother? Hope all is well. Texas is fine. It's definitely hot down here, but good. I'm good. I've been doing better with but I've definitely been doing better with diet. Been doing better with drinking better fluids, getting workouts in a little bit more frequently than before. So all's been good. All has been good. Hello from France. Go Colts, Jimmy. Thank you, man. I love that profile picture, by the way. Colts defense versus Titans defense. Well, I'm definitely taking the Colts defense 100%. I mean, I think that the Titans defense from a defensive line standpoint, I could argue is a little bit more veteran, and it can maybe do a little bit better in the pass rushing department than ours. But our linebackers are clearly better than theirs, way better than theirs. And even though they still have the better safety, I would still argue we have the better secondary in totality. So I'm definitely going with the Colts defense. I mean, that one's not up to me, DIGZ. That's up to them. I think he definitely could be ready to, but I mean, I think the Colts will decide that ultimately. I mean, being a leader is not just, being a good player. It's being able to lead these men. I don't know. I don't know what he's like in the locker room. So how do you feel about the Colts linebacker depth for this season? Jordan, I like our linebacker depth. I do. I think Shaquille Leonard and Bobby Okereke, best combo in the NFL linebacker. I like Zaire Franklin. I think he does a great job on special teams and does a great job in a backup role. I'm even more impressed of what I've seen from him this offseason, in games and practices and stuff. And I like what EJ Speed provides. I think he can definitely be a great player in the future. So I definitely think so. Shouting out to Jimmy, man. Is Pryor still it or Ryman? Pryor is still it right now. Yeah, Pryor is still the number one left tackle. Ryman still has a long way to go. He definitely is coming along a little bit, but still isn't quite ready for the NFL first string talent yet. His new name is Derek Luck. That's a good one. Derek Luck for QB. That's funny. This is a little bit different than what I'm normally used to seeing here. His attitude when he's upset. I mean, Are you talking about the fact that he starts fights? Because I mean, captains start fights; they stand up for themselves. Like I don't know if there's a time when Pittman's attitude towards something has concerned me. I mean, I don't make sense. Doesn't make sense to me. Do you think we see Hines and JT on the field a lot together this season? I think at some points, yes, I think you definitely can, but we'll see. I would love for them to run double running back sets, but we'll see. Would you guys pay Kenny $10 or $11 million a year? Well, I mean, let's look at the top corners, shall we? Let's just see. Yeah, by 2022 salary. So, I mean, Jair Alexander's getting paid $21 million a year. Denzel Ward's getting paid $20.1 million a year. Jalen Ramsey, 20. Marlon Humphrey, 19 and a half. Marshawn Lattimore, 19 and a half. Xavier Howard, 18. Tre'Davious White, 17. Darius Slay, 16 and a half. Same with J.C. Jackson and Byron Jones. Carlton Davis is getting $14.83 million. Marcus Peters getting $14 million. Shavarius Ward is getting 13 and a half. William Jackson the third is getting 13 and a half. Adoree Jackson is getting paid $13 million a year. Absolutely. I mean, if you're talking about like around the league, there are a couple guys who are not better than Kenny Moore getting paid over $12 million a year. So to say that Kenny Moore doesn't deserve anywhere from $13 to $15 million a year for the usage that he's giving us, I mean, look at his stats. His stats are better than like almost over half the guys in the league. He's regarded as like the 15th best corner in the league. He actually is a lot higher than that. He was the 82nd ranked NFL player. So like, he does deserve that kind of money. Would I sound crazy to state that MPJ and Campbell will have 1,000 yards? Crazy for Campbell, maybe, but MPJ, no. And Gilly having 6 interceptions, I don't know. He did that back 3 years ago when he was Defensive Player of the Year. I don't think he's going to quite get 6, but I could definitely see 3 or 4. Tom, I mean, if he excels again like he did next offseason, he could be. You never know. I mean, it depends on who they draft. It depends if they draft somebody, because we still wonder if the thing can definitely, I mean, we wonder if he can even step into that role in the first place, What happens if the Colts go 2-4 to start the division? Start it out. Well, let's see. 5 of their first 6 games are all divisional games, right? Or 5 of their first 7? Yeah, because they play the Texans, the Jags, then the Chiefs, then the Titans. Pull that up. Yeah, so they play the Texans, the Jags, they play the Chiefs, then the Titans, then the Broncos, then the Jags again. So they play 4 games. I mean, I don't think there's any way we'd win the division if we started out that week. No, we would not win the division with that kind of record. When was he benched? I thought Mac was the lead. He got benched. Yeah, when he got benched for after the Ravens game. Remember, he fumbled the ball. He had like 5 yards on like 5 carries. He wasn't doing very well. I mean, he got benched there at that point. What's your expectations for tight end group this year? I don't know. I mean, it needs to be palpable enough. I don't know. It really is going to depend on Granson. I don't have a lot of expectations for this tight end group. We don't have a great tight end group at the moment that compared to some other groups out there. So it'll be interesting to say the least. I think we split. Same thing as before, honestly. But if we split and beat the other two teams 4-0, then we're going to go 5-1, and then we shouldn't have a problem. And then ultimately, even if the Titans were to do the same thing, then it doesn't matter. I mean, at the end of the day, if we have the best record, then it's all that's going to matter. Alec Pierce. I think I already answered that question. I think that it just has to do with Brandon Faison being more in depth into the system and the way his body type is. I think that they like it more in that regard. Here's the thing. I don't think that's going to end up being the case for the majority of the time. I think Isaiah Rodgers is going to get better and make more usage of his time. And he's going to be out there more frequently because Isaiah Rodgers has a different skill set that works better in this sort of development. Defense top 5? I definitely think so. Do you think Ryman will bump Pryor at the end of the year? No, I don't think so. It just depends how bad or how good Matt Pryor looks. I mean, Matt Pryor could, end up looking insanely amazing. And, then Ryman still has a long way to go, at the end of the day. And guys, make sure to like the stream if you can, please. We have 84 people in here and we only have 38 likes. We get it to over 50 likes. Let's go. I've heard Ryan is not the most liked guy in the locker room. Do you think there's any truth to that rumor, or is he a respected leader? He seems to be. Yeah, Gaff, I know exactly what you're talking about. Even Pat McAfee got a hold of that rumor as well, that people were saying he's like a jerk out there, But here's the thing. I think that that's a rumor devised by somebody to spread some drama in the locker room. But I do not believe it for even a split second. A guy who has high expectations, not only for himself, but for other people. Sometimes people would consider that to be jerk status because they're asking a lot from people and they're asking sometimes even too much at times. But that does not make someone a jerk. That does not make someone unliked. Naheem Hines has mentioned it several times that you absolutely love hearing Matt Ryan talk and explain things. I do not think that he has a bad relationship with anyone in the locker room right now. I really do not believe that. James Amati with the $2 super chat. The Colts need 3 wins in September. That's all. Hey, I feel you on that. James, thank you for the $2 super chat. Greatly appreciate that, man. Thank you. Yeah, and that was it. Mac got injured that year, so it was Hines and Wilkins and Jonathan Taylor that year. Jerry saying it's clear that the Colts brass loves Sam Ehlinger. If Matt Ryan struggles this year, I could see Sam taking over next season. I don't know about that. What's defined as struggle? Because I don't see Matt Ryan struggling, and even if he did, you're still paying him a decent amount of money. I don't think Sam Ehlinger is going to just jump him just because of Matt Ryan potentially struggling. I just don't think that's going to matter. So. Are we going to see some Philly special action? I don't know. We could see some. I mean, who knows? Maybe Jelani Woods gets involved in that. We did always talk about Jelani Woods maybe taking some chances on that as well. Do I think he'll really pay all of our superstars? Well, I know he wants to. He said in the press conference yesterday that you pay your best players. And he's absolutely right. And, when you look at guys like Kenny Moore, JT, Quentin Nelson, DeForest Buckner, Shaquille Leonard, who he just paid, and Michael Pittman here shortly, you got to pay those guys when you get them, right? And as long as it's not outrageous, then, you keep them around. And, Ballard certainly hasn't been shy about paying our best players, right? I mean, he just paid Shaquille Leonard the highest linebacker contract in the history of the NFL. So at the end of the day, we know he's going to get you your money if you're worth that. Just at the end of the day, you got to be elite to get that kind of money. So who knows what happens? At the end of the day, it's what happens. Funchess? No, I don't think Funchess is going to be coming back. Yeah, that's the big question, Fantasy Baller. We don't really know at this point, we look at the you looked at the defensive line and who got put on the squad, right? You looked at the backup defensive tackles right now are Eric Johnson and Byron Cowart, right? So do I trust either one of them at this moment to take the reins for him? No. But then again, you could see guys like Tyquan Lewis or Dio Dangbo going out there and taking some reps for those guys, right? Like I would think a little bit more highly of that, because then Dio and Tyquan have skill sets that are different that allow them to be better in those situations. So if you're asking me, I'd like to see Dio Dangbo do that. And then if you wanted to have a backup for Grover, then have Eric Johnson come in there occasionally and do that. But that's me. If you want Dio Dangbo taking over for Buck on those as the third DT sort of situations, then that's what I would think. Yeah, I heard about that earlier. Do you think Grover Stewart will get 10 sacks this year? No, Jordan. I mean, I don't think there's any way that Grover Stewart does that. I mean, I would love it if he did, but I mean, the most sacks he's ever had in a season has been 3, and that was back in 2019. So, this last season he finished with only 1 sack. So I just don't see any way possible that Grover Stewart gets 10 sacks. And besides, he hasn't been getting double teamed primarily at all on pass downs over the span of the last 3 years. And he's had 4.5 sacks in that time. So I don't see any way, shape, or form that he does that. Am I coming up for the Chiefs game? No, my original plan was to, but I'm not going to be there, unfortunately. Shannon Sharp called Aaron Rodgers a prick. I don't freaking care if my QB is a total tool if he balls out and wins games. I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, like, I don't care if guys like Matt Ryan in the locker room. Nobody liked Michael Jordan, like, on his team. Nobody liked Michael Jordan. No, I mean, a lot of his former teammates hated him. But at the end of the day, you respected the greatness of a guy like a Michael Jordan because he was elite at what he did. And at the end of the day, you tolerated it because you knew it was going to get you wins. And at the end of the day, you knew it was your best chance to be successful is to be on that side of things. So at the end of the day, I'm not too worried about it. More likely that we win a Super Bowl. Mac got released. Yeah, or he's on the practice squad, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Derek, I saw an article that said that Matt Ryan looked like a deer caught in headlights. The executive said that. Have you saw? No, I didn't see that. That sounds like a lot of crap, but I'd be interested if you could tell me where that article is because I can read it for myself because Matt Ryan being a deer in headlights. I assume you're talking about like this offseason. Like, I don't see any reason to believe that. Keys to the Texans game. Well, I mean, the number one thing is you don't want to beat yourself, right? I mean, you don't want to go out there and start trying to make plays when they don't, when they're not there, right? So you want to take care of the football. You absolutely want to take care of the football. You have to win in the trenches. That's the number one rule. The Colts need to try to run the football in this game. And you also need to get pressure on Davis Mills, because that's how you've been able to win those games against the Texans. Is the defensive line has been able to dominate the Texans offensive line the last few years. That's how they've been winning games against the Texans. So that's what they need to do. Yeah, Wars. I think we definitely could. Well, yeah, keeping Ben Bannigan and Cup Phillip Lindsay. Yeah, I mean, you needed defensive linemen, right? You need defensive ends. And Phillip Lindsay, at the end of the day, he was third running back and he didn't play special teams. So at the end of the day, it's just not what we're gonna see. Hope that Curtis Brooks can see the field this year. Yeah, I hope at some point he gets a chance. We'll see how he does. I mean, obviously didn't play very great in the preseason, but he is on the practice squad, so we'll see what happens there. Yannick will have 11 sacks this year. I think he'll have close to that. Well, I understand he's not Michael Jordan. I get it. But when you're talking about a leadership position, quarterback is the most important position in all of football, one of the most important positions in all of sports. You have to make sure that you're respecting the leader. And that's what Matt Ryan is. It's the same thing as Michael Jordan. I'm not saying that these guys are same athletically or in importance. I'm talking about just their leadership positions. That's what they hold. That's their status, the aura that they hold over the team. Do you think we see Hines and tight ends catching more or less than the wide receivers, or a more balanced approach? Well, Matt Ryan likes to throw the ball everywhere. So there'll be some weeks where Hines and the tight ends are going to get a lot more, some weeks where the receivers are going to get a lot more. So I think it's probably going to be balanced. Remember Peyton and Saturday's fight? Oh yeah. How can I forget, right? Hold on. Can we play it? I'm going to play it. I'm going to go and just see if I can find it. Let's see if we can find this. No, I don't think they're going to show me it. I'll have to find it. I want to see it. Let me see if I can just pull it up. Yeah, here we go.
I just snapped. Hey!
Let's see if we can I'll share this with you guys. Might as well, right? Hopefully I don't get demonetized.
Yeah, I just snapped. Hey! We're calling the plays, all right? We gotta run the ball. We'll run the ball. Can we run it down there? We'll run it down. Yeah, Jeff. We will. All right, when we call pass plays, block. That was totally outmatched. Size, strength, you name it. No, he's calling plays. Go sit down. Don't sit down. Don't quit yelling. Go sit down. No, we're cool. We don't yell. We ain't telling us how to block. He's doing it. Come on, he's yelling it out. You don't have to go yell.
Gotta love it, you know? I mean, that kind of stuff happens every once in a while, you know? Scream on stream this year. Hey, y'all can do that as much as you want. I don't know what y'all are talking about with Tom Brady looking different. I don't know what y'all are talking about. It was a Bleacher Report article that y'all were talking about with the Matt Ryan looking like a deer in headlights. I don't freaking know. I mean, Bleacher Report's crap sometimes anyway. I don't really think the O line's going to be a problem, at least at the starting O line. I mean, it's always a good idea to have a couple, but yeah, I think we'll see a bounce back year from Hot Rod. I do. Hot Rod was hurt last year. I mean, he's not hurt this year, so Nick Cross expectations. I think he'll start at some point this year, and I think he's gonna be up there, man. I love it. I love what I see from Nick Cross. Hey, SNTSBC. I don't care about a logo change. I mean, that's doesn't interest me. Do you think he will struggle week one? Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it'll be closer than what people would like for it to be, but as long as we win, I don't really care, right? I mean, it's week one. What do I think about us going 3-0 this year? I'm assuming you're saying to start the year. Um, I definitely think we could start 2-1. I don't know. I mean, if we beat the Chiefs, that's going to be crazy. That'd be awesome if we could beat them. Right. Reggie hated Peyton, but then he loved him. Huh. Really? I didn't hear about that. How many yards is Pierce going to get this year? I think it'll be somewhere between I think it's going to be somewhere between 700 and 800 yards, I think. Would you guys ever do an on location view party for a game? Oh yeah, Cody and I have talked about doing that. I'll be honest, I had a chance to maybe try and do that for the Philly and Colts game, but you know, now that I'm down here, I can't necessarily do it. But you know, I'll work on that. I'm gonna start working on some of that for sure. Real freaking funny, bro. First rounder, what position group are you going with? Depends. It's either quarterback or cornerback. It's one of those two for me. Make sure to keep asking some questions, guys. Let's not get into all the different TV personalities. if we miss the playoffs, you think Frank is done? Yeah, I think his job would definitely be on the hot seat if we miss the playoffs again. Have over 700 receiving yards. Let's see. Let's pull up some Naheem Hines stats, shall we? Let's see. In 2020, where he had his best season, he had 63 catches for 482 yards. I do not believe there is a way he gets 700 receiving yards. Where's Cody? He's working right now, so it is just me. Greetings from Mexico. Going to my first NFL game this season with the Colts at Denver. Love your content. Hope Paris can be healthy all season long. Hey, Diego, thank you so much, man. Greetings from Mexico. Wow, it's crazy. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the kind words. Hope you enjoy your first NFL game. Try to enjoy it, experience all of it. Does Paris Campbell shine this year without getting hurt? Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't get hurt, I mean, Paris Campbell can really freaking shine, man. He is fast and agile like very few people I've seen. So, I mean, yeah, if he stays healthy, he's going to be a monster. Absolutely. I mean, everybody here knows how big of a Paris Campbell guy I am. I mean, need I say more? I got this thing freaking signed on a Buckeye cruise with him on it, and he freaking signed that thing for me. I love that guy. Cody saying hi, Tyler. Here you go. Which player do you think will have a great year, but it's under the radar? Under the radar year. I'm going to say Bobby Okereke. I mean, people aren't really talking about it. Manwiches with the $2 super chat. Congrats on all of your channel's success. Thank you very much for the $2 super chat. Thank you for the kind words. Greatly appreciate it. Hey, Derek, how's your day going? Hey, what's up, man? Doing well. Day's going fine. I'm awake and alive and doing this, so I can't complain. You know what I'm saying? Everybody listen to Jerry, all right? Get them likes up. Can you do a Colts game-by-game prediction? Okay. All right. Let's do it. I mean, oh, and Leo, I think it could be Campbell right off the bat, as long as he stays healthy. Let's do. Now, this is obviously without injuries, of course. You know, things change, but we need to do shots every time a Colt gets a sack this year. No, I don't want to get drunk on stream. Jeez. Maybe after the games. Okay, so let's just go off of this then. Score prediction for a Colts game-by-game prediction. Okay, I have the Colts winning against the Texans. I have the Colts winning against the Jags. And I have them losing to the Chiefs. So that's 2-1. I have them beating the Titans at home. So that's 3-1. I have them losing to the Broncos, 3-2. I have them beating the Jaguars again, 4-2. Yes, Cody, I agree. I need to work on my soundboard and work on that and try to figure out some ways to do that. I absolutely agree. I'll have to ask our guy RB how he did that again so he can help me and figure it out, because that would be cool. Remind me of that again, because I'll ask RB. So 4-2 for Jaguars and Colts. And then I have us losing to the Titans, 4-3. winning against the Commanders 5 and so I can't count. 5-3. Yeah, beating the Commanders 5-3. I think they beat the Patriots 6-3. I think they'll lose to the Raiders 6-4. I think they'll beat the Eagles. So they'll be 7-4. Lose to the Steelers, so they'll be 7-5. I think they'll beat the Cowboys. I think they'll beat the Cowboys, so they'll be 8-5. I think they'll beat the Vikings, win that, so it'll be 9-5. Lose to the Chargers, 9-6. They'll beat the Giants and the Texans, so they'll be 11-6. So that's just me. What's a second contract for Bobby look like? How many years in price? Well, at least 3. It might end up having to be 4. And, Bobby had over 100 tackles this last year. If he does that again, man, he's going to have to get paid a little bit of money. Not the same money as Shaquille, of course. Of course not. But, if that's what happens. Yes, I said lose to the Steelers. Flip-flop them in Philly. No, I ain't giving RB a soundtrack. Screw that. Why would we lose to the Raiders? Well, we're on the road. The Raiders always play us hard. So I just think that they would beat us because they have a very talented offense. It just depends on if they stay healthy. Lane Kiffin or Kellen Moore next head coach. Well, I think Frank Reich's going to be our coach, but whatever. Yeah, whatever, Cody. I know just because you're going to the game. I know because you're going to the game and you don't want them to lose because I'd be right. And then that's going to make you sad. And then your girl's going to end up trash talking you for the whole way back. All right. So don't get in my face about that. You're going to add more Colts gear to your background. Maybe not like this, maybe not this season, but I will try to work on that. Once I am able to start financially doing that a little more, then I will definitely do that. But yeah. Do we sweep the South? I don't think so. I think we're going to lose one game to the Titans, and then I think that's going to be it. Cody and Derek NFL Blitz grudge match on stream. That would be funny. Bro, I told Cody we need to do more vlog content, Told him that we need to do that. All right, guys. So I think this is going to be coming close to the end here. If anybody has some last second questions they want to ask so I can get out of here, and then I'm going to end up going and getting the workout in. Yeah, for real. We said anytime we go to a game. I know that when I go to some games at the end of the year, I will be doing some vlog content for when I go to the Chargers game, the Monday Night Football game. So yeah, I will definitely be doing some vlog content then. 100%. We'll definitely be doing that. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for this one, guys. It's been a little over just about an hour now. So thank you guys, everybody who tuned in for the Q&A. Greatly appreciate it. What do you think is a trap game? Well, obviously you would take into account the Jaguars, of course, but I think a trap game definitely could be the Vikings or the Giants at the end of the year. But at the end of the day, I think that's it. But thank you guys again so much for tuning in. Greatly appreciate it. And as always, guys, go Colts.